So tell us about Surface Prep. Let's before we get too further into it, let everybody know exactly all that you all provide to the surface finishing industry.
Okay. So SurfacePrep is a focused distributor in the industrial finishing market. We have roughly 50 locations in North America, 5 in Canada, um, 42, 45 in the US, and then we have 5 now in the UK, and then 2 locations in mainland Europe. So we have locations throughout the United States. Have roughly 125 field salespeople. And historically, our focus has been blast media finishing, blast equipment processes, in-plant manufacturing. We have some of our locations are stronger in certain areas like mass finishing, so vibratory finishing or wheel finish, or tumble media finishing. Some of our locations are stronger when it comes to wheel blast finishing for the foundry markets, but then some of our locations are really strong when it comes to the coated and sanding finishing. Gotcha. A few years ago, one of our locations that we acquired, SOT Abrasives, they were growing into the paint equipment finishing side. So through acquisitions, we've acquired a couple of more distributors who are strictly focused on paint equipment. So we really tie in, we're really in the plant from post spindle to the time that product goes out the door. Right. So we have a lot of knowledge on developing systems, processes, improving processes, getting the right profile on a part, so that then it can go into the final process, whether it's a polishing process or a paint process. So that's kind of what we do. We're really focused on that kind of end of the segment manufacturing process.
Gotcha. When you say you have these locations, do they have some samples of equipment there that people can look at, or?
We do. We have 6 processing labs throughout the country, and each of those can do testing. We can bring in sample parts, and we can take a part from raw to finish and provide a customer multiple processes to suit their application. Those facilities also are, they do production work, contract work for customers, for existing customers, for new customers. Some of it's overflow work, some of it's on long-term contracts. So we work with aerospace, we work with automotive, we work with general industrial in our production facilities. And then in the field, if it's metal, we touch it. We work with it, and then with 2 of our locations, the Norris Wiener in the Boston area and Schweitzer and Crossan in the Philadelphia area, they have a strong presence in the wood market for the paint equipment. And then our Indianapolis location has always had a strong presence in the wood market for sanding. So we really do touch all surfaces. So we work with customers that do composite finishing, metal finishing, wood finishing. So we work to find solutions for all of our customers.
Right. Yeah, the name SurfacePrep is really, stops with, getting the part ready to be finished. And then you all have added, I'm not sure what year was it that you added some of the painting components? I guess that kind of finished the circle for your customers, right?
Yeah, so that started to come aboard in late 2018, when we acquired SOT Abrasives, joined the group. They had expanded into that market. And then in 2021, we acquired Norris Wiener in Boston area. So that fully focused on paint equipment. And then earlier this year, the Schweitzer and Crossan acquisition, being fully focused on paint equipment. With those acquisitions and seeing that it's an opportunity to grow, we've hired a director of paint and powder equipment, Matthew Riley, who's been in the industry for roughly 15 years, I guess. both as a painter, a prepper, worked in a job shop. He worked in a powder coat shop. He worked uh, for a supplier, and now he's on
Mm,
the distribution side with us. And now we're expanding his team, and he'll have 3 product specialists regionally in the field working with our salespeople to have that expertise to support our salespeople and to support our customers.
right, right. Let's talk about the acquisition of Schweitzer and Croson, because a lot of people in the coding industry are very familiar with that name. Tell us what that's going to bring to your customers now with that acquisition.
So it will bring a lot more just knowledge throughout the
Mm,
company. They're a strong company. They have some really good relationships with different suppliers that we did not have relationships with. And then they have a very strong service department. So
mm.
that is, we have a service department in Texas, but we want to expand that out throughout the country. So we'll take their knowledge and their expertise and just uh, expand the business with their knowledge and with their relationships.
Right, right. Yeah. Are you finding that you're finding maybe a lot of manufacturers are adding liquid and powder in house instead of outsourcing it? Are you seeing that a lot more?
We have seen that trend, bringing it in house, just having the control, um, and just the lead times and having really comes down to the control and being able to manage your business better. So we are seeing more of that happening.
Right, right. Yeah, definitely. You touched on customer service. I know I did a survey at the end of last year of a lot of finishers, and one of the things that they saw as a trend that was concerning them was a lot of not really getting a lot of support from suppliers as they used to do. And but it seems like that's what's driven you all is really getting inside the facilities and working very closely with these customers to give them advice on what equipment they're going to need to get to that next level. Like you said, to keep it a lot of it in house and do the work themselves to really speed up production and quality with that. But what is it that you guys see that you bring to the table as far as all that support that you offer customers?
I think that's the thing that has always stood out for us.
Mhm.
Prior to me joining the company 10 years ago, I was uh, a vendor at one of our locations, and I was
Mhm.
always impressed with how many of their salespeople would walk into a manufacturing plant and everybody knew their name because they
Mhm.
were in there on a regular basis and they weren't taking orders; they were finding solutions. They were
Mhm.
the guys that they would people would track them down to say, "Help me on this project. Can you help me here? Can you help me there?" And that was with our Indianapolis office. But as I
Mhm.
worked with many of our sales people throughout the country, that's how the vast majority of our salespeople in the field are. They're solution solvers. They
Mhm.
help the customer find a solution to their problem, develop a process, and we're intricately ingrained into many of our plants because some of these, especially when it comes to a blast system or a paint system, it's a long-term process
Mhm.
and it's not turnkey. So our people will be, integrated into that plant for months, if not sometimes a year plus, developing that process.
Mhm.
And we have the ability to, on the in many cases, take, like I mentioned earlier, bring parts out of the plant and do testing and develop a process for them, which helps speeds that up. So that's something a lot of our competition does not have. And there's the technical know-how. We
Mhm.
have a lot of industry veterans who have been doing this their entire career. We've got a lot of young people coming into the company, which is exciting, that are learning from the veterans and taking a new approach to it. There's going to be, I think, the younger people that are coming in the company will be able to take data sets and provide a different way of looking at providing solutions on top of that mechanical technical know-how.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And like you said, I mean, as we see, manufacturing tick up more and more than it's ever been. And the finishing aspect always seemed to be the clogging point, right? Of most manufacturing of how to get it done and get it done quickly and those type of things. And with you all being sort of agnostic to any particular, since you do represent a lot of suppliers, you can pretty much give them a straight answer of what's going to be the best solution, I think, for their operation with that, because you have a wide
Yeah,
variety of things to pick from.
We do, whether it's from the blast side or the vibratory side, air blast side, wheel blast side, vibratory side, paint equipment side, um, the hand finishing side. We are agnostic, and we want to bring the right solution to the customer.
Hmm.
We want to bring new technologies to the customer,
Right.
and we have strong working relationships with our vendor partners, um, and I feel like they appreciate that we're always looking out for the customer. So I think that's another thing that sets Surface Prep apart, is that our number one goal is to improve the process for the customer.